Kevin. Welcome back to 5.9 Wrenches. We're going to be talking about the 2001 Dodge Ram again today. So let's pop the hood, have a little bit of discussion. So as you can see, the interior is still stock. Going to be addressing some of that in the future as I go forward. I have a stereo to install. I have kind of a special deal that was freebie, and we'll talk about that a little bit. But as you can see, carpet's a mess. You guys probably already saw the dash videos where I kind of replaced that. Not kind of, I did replace it. It was a lot of work. That was a huge project. Never stripped a dash out of a vehicle before, so it was quite the learning experience. But I feel like it went together really well in the end. So let's take a look under the hood. As I kind of go through and refurb this truck and put some custom touches to it, one of the things that I'm doing is addressing deferred maintenance. As you can see, something crawled up in here and decided they wanted to make a nest out of the heat shielding on the bottom of the hood. Yeah, so that'll be coming out. But I want to address some of the things that are going on with this truck. There are some leaks in the back of the motor. I've repaired a lot of vacuum leaks, but other than that, everything's pretty good. Replaced that compressor over there in the entire HVAC system, and you can watch that in the other videos. What I'm going to do ultimately is do some type of performance enhancement. I want to do something that is a bit challenging. I'm looking at doing a V8 swap in this, a 5.9. So we will see if that comes along. Got to find an appropriate donor vehicle or a motor and transmission. The transmission is the 42RE on this truck, and it won't hold the horsepower and torque of the 5.9. So I've got to figure that out. The 5.2 is also too much motor for this transmission, from what I understand. The most recent thing to come about is I was driving it the other day and I noticed a squeaking noise coming from the motor, and I now have an idler pulley going out, so I'll be changing that. So it's little side quest as I go through and refurb this vehicle. So yeah, so got a lot of things planned. Going to be working on body work and paint and getting this thing up and running. And I mean, it's drivable. Another thing that I need to address is this hood latch. Let's see if you can see it, is completely, and I mean completely rotted out on the bottom here. So the hood is not really, the grill is not really attached to the hood in a strong manner. Also, all of these little tabs are cracked and broken almost all the way around. They are cracked and broken all the way around. I've got a new grill in the garage that'll be going on after paint. So yeah. Okay, got a notice that a delivery came. I've got a couple things in the mail. The Amazon guy just dropped this off. I've been waiting for this. This is an Amazon Points freebie. So we'll unbox this bad boy. Kind of excited about it. Also received another package as well. We'll open up. Trying to do this with one hand. So like any 25-year-old vehicle, there are little dents and mole rash all over it. So let me see if I can adjust this camera. Okay, so let's get this bad boy open. Again, this is an Amazon Points freebie post-Christmas. A little Vivor tool action here. So there's the bag. Nice little carrying bag. And I was not expecting it to be packed like this. I figured it would be packed in the bag itself. So, all right, so this is a dent puller kit. The Vivor dent puller kit. I've seen it on a couple other channels. Okay, so I've laid this out a little bit better so that we can see all the pieces. This is a 100-piece kit. So the 100 pieces includes all the little attachments, so it's not necessarily all tools themselves. It came with some white gloves, microfiber cloth. It came with a glue gun with a scraper to get the glue off, and of course an assorted variety of different glues, I guess depending on what the surface, what surface you're working on. So I'll have to read the instructions for sure. I'm not a body man in any way, shape, or form, but there are different tools and different techniques that they kind of lay out in this manual. I glanced at it briefly, and it seems to be pretty in depth. It comes with this slide hammer. So you put one of the little plastic tips in the end here, glue it to the truck, and then just give it a slide, and basically you're pulling the dent out. It comes with this guy, which is a tool to be used with the hammer. If you have a raised dent that's protruding from the surface of your sheet metal, say something impacted it from the backside through the fender or something, this will be used to tap that down with along with this hammer. It has two tips. One is a rounded tip, one is this pointed tip. It also comes with a T-handle. You can use the T-handle, again, with the assortment of tips that they have. So you just kind of screw the tip on one of these guys and kind of pull your dent leveraging this T-handle. This, from what I understand, and I'll have to go back and read the manual, if you have a crease in your sheet metal, these will be used with this T-handle. You glue these blue plastic pieces and you screw on the holder to this T-handle, and you can kind of pull a crease out of your sheet metal. This has been referred to as a magic dent puller. Let's see, what do they call it in here? I'm wanting to say it is, they call it a dent repair lifter. So it's got the same attachment point for these plastic tips. You glue these plastic tips to your dent, then you place the rubber feet on the panel, and they're articulated so that way it can follow the contour of the panel, and you just kind of start squeezing very gently and kind of pulling and working that dent out. You can also use this little hammer around the crease around the edge of the dent to also help with that a little bit. There are a couple of suction cups here. There's a large one, and there are two small ones. Now, when I've seen these used, basically I've seen you attach a suction cup for a large dent and kind of pull on that dent and kind of pull the sheet metal out while you tap the ridge around that dent. These are for larger dents. There are a couple of smaller suction cups as well. Again, I'll have to read up on the suggested method of using that so that I know exactly how to use it. There is also another dent attachment. This is a bar attachment, a dent repair bridge is what they call it. Can't get this out of here. Struggling with plastic today for some reason. And that comes with a variety of screws. These are articulated to follow the contour. You stick this guy, glue this guy to the sheet metal and kind of start twisting it out very slowly to pull that dent out of the sheet metal. There's kind of redundancy here, it seems, with this puller, and these guys. So we'll have to see which ones I use, which ones I decide to use on the truck. There are a multitude of various tips. This can be used in this tool. So as you can see here, these unscrew, and you can replace these like so. Kind of thinking it's like a body hammer and dolly kit. Use a different shape for different types of dents or different areas that you're working on. There are, like I said, a multitude of these plastic ends that you glue to the sheet metal. See these guys. So glue that on there with a supply hot glue gun and glue sticks, and then go to work. So that's a 100-piece kit. I'm wanting to say it was like 30 bucks, maybe 45 bucks. Like I said, I used the Amazon reward points that I had to purchase this after, you know, Christmas shopping. And once the holidays were over, it's like a kind of a New Year's present for myself to work on the truck. This is something that needs to be done because I want to paint the vehicle in the coming months. Unfortunately, weather has not cooperated. I'm working out of a garage space, and I don't have a heated space to work on. The temperature dropped down to the 20s here in Texas, and so didn't have a chance to do body work or anything like that like I planned to. But let's take a look at what we're going to use these on the truck. So yeah, going to be going through sanding this paint down some more. My nephew sanded like the first half down, so need to work on this bottom half where it's still glossy, get that matted down nice, and then I'm going to go ahead and prime and start working on paint for that. As you can see, red is already a problem paint in most vehicles, but as you can see, the clear coat failed on this thing about midway down. Entire truck looks like this. So yeah, I'll be working on that. I will probably start with kind of the tailgate and the hood, which don't need body work. They just need sanding, and they need sanding, priming, and painting. So I don't need too much. And then I'll do, this door's locked. I will do blocking of the jams and things like that to get this guy prepped for external paint. Doing it at home, doing it in my garage. So yeah, we'll see how this turns out. It's an adventure for me, that's for sure. So generally, the biggest dent is right here. See if I can't get a good angle on it. Right in this area, there is a low spot where rubbed up against a tree or something. And so if you take a look at it, it's kind of hard because this finish is not very reflective now because the paint is cracked. You can kind of see the waviness right here in this area. So that's one of the biggest dents that I have to work on. There's also a little ridge. Let's see if I can get the light to catch that. There you go. That's probably the best way to see this little ridge here sinks down towards this light. And as you can tell, this tail light is protruding out a little bit. So I've got to address that. That's the biggest piece of work that I have to do. Other than that, it's just general mall rash. Let's see. Here's a small ding, a door ding, and then there are some, as you can see, all the little dings and mall rash. I think this will sand out once I level and primer this paint. So also over here, let's see, again, little dings here and there. It's hard to see on camera. Here's one. This is definitely a little divot. You can see the low spot where my nephew was sanding here, and once he sanded here, it revealed that low spot. You can see lots of door dings and rash along this fender well. That's from shopping center parking lots, going to the supermarket. Here's another, and there's another one right here. It's hard to see on camera. There we go. You can kind of see it right in here. So, but he's taking those out and using the dent puller tools to work on that for the most part. But not too bad considering it's a 25-year-old truck. So yeah, there's a dent right here. It's probably the biggest dent is in this bumper. So I might get a roll pan or replace this with something else. So one of the things I've been wanting to do is dress up the interior of this truck. So I have a replacement stereo, a Kenwood Exelon KDC X305 single din. That's what fits in the dash. This is going in to replace that old dual head unit that failed. So I'll be putting this in probably before I get to the interior work. I'm kind of trying to hold off on that, but I really kind of want some tunes. The other thing, I was playing around with with the thought of installing better seats and perhaps leather. And one of the things that I wanted to do was get some seats from a different vehicle to put in. And I was driving down a road, back road, to take my mom to a senior center activity. And I saw what looked like seats sitting on the side of the road. And I sat there thinking about it, and it's like, those were 2 seats. So the next day as we were going, they were still there. I pulled over, and these 2 BMW seats were sitting there. So I loaded them up into the truck and got them home, did some research on them. These are BMW 750 Li comfort seats that were dumped on the side of the road for whatever reason. Don't know, but they are in excellent condition. The thing that I like about these seats is that they have fully articulated lumbar support, and they have side support. It's fully articulated, both top and bottom. They're heated and ventilated. So free leather seats that I will be cleaning up and putting in the truck. So the thing that I don't like in true BMW fashion, or actually modern cars in general, is the amount of complexity that have gone into these seats. The entire seat is controlled through this computer module. So it needs a signal from the CAN bus to allow you to move the seats back and forth or adjust the seats, control the seats. They generally will, from what I've seen on other YouTube videos, turn on for about a couple seconds, allow you to adjust, and then you have to cut power to them and then turn the power back on to reset this module to allow those seats to function and for you to be able to adjust the lumbar support and the side bolsters. I don't want to really do that. There is what some people call the nuclear option, where it's removing this bird's nest or rat's nest of wires and figuring out which ones goes to which and powering these on switches individually. What I have seen a lot of folks doing, and we're going to stand on the shoulders of greatness here, is running power to this plug or this pigtail and sending a 1 kilohertz signal to the module, which keeps it awake. So it thinks it's getting a signal from the main body control module in the BMW and says, okay, it's alive, I can do whatever I want to do. The rest of this are wires to all of the different motors, the airbag system. They are also the wires to the heating pads and cooling fans that I want to be able to control. I would like to have all of these functions available from these seats. I will likely try to remove the airbags themselves because, one, they won't work, and two, they're just dead weight, and these seats are already super heavy. We'll see how this plays out. I don't even know if the motors are good. When I got this off the side of the road, I'd noticed that for one of the motors here, this one, this is a flex shaft that kind of runs the seat back and forth. This one had a golf ball wedged down in here. I had to pry that thing out. Don't know how a golf ball got wedged down in there. Obviously somebody going to the country club had their golf equipment run around and somehow one of the balls got in there. Not sure, but it was wedged in there pretty good. So it seems like they may have tried to back the seat up and then it just stopped on them because it couldn't go any farther and it probably made some horrible noises. We'll see about this one. The driver's side seat, I didn't notice anything wrong with. So I'm hoping to get these in the truck. This would be really, really cool to have some super cool comfort seats in an old 2001 Dodge Ram. So kind of excited about that. This is going to be an ongoing project. I've already ordered these guys. I'm trying to do this with one hand. Let's see if I can get them out. These are little frequency generators. This is a bit of a pain. All right, so these are little frequency generators. If you can see that. And this is what most people are using to send that 1 to 10 kilohertz signal, 1 to 10,000 kilohertz signal to that seat control module to fix it up. Now I have to have a step down for that, and so it needs to be 12 volt to 5 volts. So I've got a 12 volt to 5 volt step down to feed power to this, to feed power to that CAN bus signal wire. So you have to step it down. I'll be working on this, and I'll do more detailed review about that as we go on and get closer to messing with these seats. But as you can see, I've already started kind of rooting around, figuring out what goes where. I was lucky enough to have a friend who knows a friend that does BMW work, classic BMW work, and kind of gave me some tips and some schematics about, hey, this is kind of what it looks like. This is where these wires go. The two thickest wires are going to be power. BMW does brown for ground and this red and black for 12 volt power, and the rest of these are going to be CAN bus. I believe this is CAN bus. This yellow, black, and gray twisted wire, I believe, is the CAN bus signal. Still doing some deciphering on that, but we'll go into depth as I go through and try to get these seats prepared. The other thing is they have a thigh bolster that slides out from here. This one, something happened. So this slide out is crooked, and you can see that something happened there to this seat. So we'll have to figure out how to reset this or fix this, or I may just leave it alone. It might not be worth it messing with. Don't necessarily need that, but it would be nice to have all the functions of these seats working. So that's going on there. Additionally, I have all of my prep materials for paint. Here I have a little bit of body filler, mask. I bought the Hercules surface conditioning tool. You've seen a lot of videos on that from YouTube content creators, and so that's what I'm going to be using to kind of bring that surface down smooth and level, and get it down to a good surface prep, so that way I can get the primer to stick and then have a good paint job out of that. So all that stuff is boxed up and ready to go, and I'm going to keep working on things, and I'll keep you guys in the loop as we go forward. As always, like and subscribe. It helps my channel. Would love to have you guys hang around and stick with me to the end on this.